Hi everyone, so I made a decision to go to Disney World alone. 14 days, totally solo. I wrestled with this decision for a good long while, and I realised many people thought I was totally crazy. At some point, some 12 months out from the divorce, my frame of mind had started to shift, and I was thinking about getting away for a bit and going on holiday. This slowly set me down the road of what actually it meant for someone who was likely to go on their own. I hadn't done any sort of crazy solo travelling in my 20s, so this was all totally new. Disney World, it is safe to say, for various reasons a lot of people are probably thinking now, wasn't my first choice. There was a lot of internal debate and working through ideas via my usual method of a verbose internal monologue. The main idea that I was sticking with for a while was rocking up to some all-inclusive hotel and just relaxing and reading for a week or so. We'd done that a couple of times before, and I could see how that could work if I was on my own. I'd also meticulously planned a trip to Vegas, something I'd also done before, but again, eons ago. The hotel was chosen, along with a range of activities. It was quite a congested calendar, I have to say. I nearly hit the button on that holiday several times. Literally, my finger sitting over the mouse, wanting to press the button, but holding back. When that happens, I've learned to accept that there is probably something about it that isn't right. I've just not figured it out yet. So I did hold off. At the same time, I also started to watch various Disney YouTube channels. Not really sure why I started doing that. The conscious decision is lost in the depths of my memory. There's no trigger that I can summon up as to why. I suspect it was my unconscious mind already working through the idea of going to Disney World, and my conscious mind just wasn't prepared to admit it yet. At some point I did start to process it through my internal monologue. The theory was quite simple. If I'd gone to that all-inclusive hotel and used it as a base to visit the odd local attraction, spend time at the pool and read books, how is that different to spending time at a Disney World resort? Going to the parks as the local attractions, spending time by the pool and reading the odd book. The conclusion I came to was, there is no difference at all. The only real difference was the perception of others. And for this reason I kept the idea secret for as long as possible. The reason I did that was quite simple. I knew almost anyone I told would think I was stupid. People have problems with adults going to Disney World without kids, even though actually every park but the Magic Kingdom isn't really built for them. So the idea of me going, a 40-year-old bloke who was planning to go by himself, I partly learned the lesson with the MBA, which some people could say was a much more sensible idea, and yet I faced a wall of people persuading me against it. Since I don't really need the affirmation from others, there is very little sense in exposing myself to their wall of negativity. And I was right. The few people outside of family that I did reveal it to were either very negative about it or weren't verbally, but you could see it in their eyes. When I decided to vlog it is even a murkier decision. It just became a thing at some point that was no definable decision. I took my usual approach though, and once it was a thing, I went into it big style. I did do the thing everyone advised you shouldn't do though, and purchased a £400 camera to do it. It may take me a while to make decisions, but once I do, I am all in. Luckily, I do still have that camera. Before I went, I thought I was going to Disney World, but afterwards I came to realise the whole experience wasn't about that. Disney World just happened to be the geographical location. While it's true that I enjoyed visiting Disney World and Universal Studios, at not having been for almost a decade, the trip wasn't really about the location itself. It was about me breaking out on my own, breaking away from the shadow of the divorce and starting to make conscious decisions to move my life forward. You could say the solo Disney trip was the first small great change to begin making my life a story worth telling again. It was the first step to me writing the new version of my life and leaving the old one behind the time war. The vlogging was also the right idea because the camera essentially became the person I travelled with. This became so true, and the solo experience so intimately linked with talking to the camera, I find it hard to separate the two. I've come to realise the experience would have probably failed if I had not vlogged it. It would have felt less personal, more mundane, and more disconnected, and the experience would have been lessened as a result. While I've since went on a solo cruise that I didn't vlog, and that was fantastic for different reasons, the ability to talk to the camera was an essential part of the solo Disney World trip. I also believe the vlogging made the trip new and fresh. I like new experiences, and one of the shocking things about the solo Disney World trip was how similar everything was despite me not having been there for 10 years. The process of vlogging, reflecting on what I was seeing, getting more confident with the camera, and essentially having 14 days of concentrated learning doing something new, created a new and unique experience that was essential. As I progressed through the 14 days, I became a different person. While my journey out of my divorce was happening on a bigger, slower scale in life generally, this trip was essentially like one of those roller coasters with a launch system that shoots you over the launch hill in 0 to 40 miles per hour in 2 seconds or something. It ejected me out at speed, and I returned home having come out the other side in a much better place with respect to the divorce. I mean, let's be honest, it wasn't over. We were still in an endless debate with the solicitors, primarily due to every attempt she made to reach the target value she decided she wanted, actually lessening that value, which would have been funny, but in truth it was just tiring. The Disney World solo trip was the beginning of the end psychologically though, and my first small great change to make my life better. Until the next chapter, you can support me by doing a few simple things. Like the video, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Certainly post a comment, and let's continue to make small great changes to make life a story worth telling.